233.
Hello, hashtag Verse TV family, and welcome. It's week 233. I'm Aaron Mack, and I'm here with my good friend Kevin, aka CVC Basic Complexity, who just threw up the West Side symbol, and he will actually take us away with the number share program. So, Basic Complexity, are you ready for the number share program? So the way it works, we do 2 presses, 3 presses, 3 presses, and you must choose at least one of those 3 questions. So the first 2 presses, we wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and Alex is talking. Were you closer? Here we go. Were you closer with your mom or your dad growing up? Or another press?
Nah, actually, my mom.
And there it is. Oh, right. And I have the newer song, and it is new-ish because it's one of the oldest of the newer songs because it's from 2013. It's by none other than Nigerian superstar queen diva belting singer Waje, and her song "No Be You." No be you talk say, and "No Be You." When I looked it up, I looked it up years ago, like when it was new. I believe what it's basically saying is "No Be You." Translates into didn't you say, no be you talk say, you'd be here to stay. You said that, you know. I love Waje. She is exceptional. It's my understanding. I've seen it. She is acting now. I was talking with an Uber driver about it a couple of days ago, and he was like, yeah, I think she's mostly, if not exclusively, doing the acting thing now. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, she's an exceptional belter. Like, she belts. And I don't. I'll leave it at Waje. I have so much more to say. And also, that whole album, which is entitled Words Aren't Just Enough, which are it's an acronym of the name Waje, Waje, Words Aren't Just Enough. The whole album is excellent. I got it when it was new. I've been jamming it ever since. Anyway, Basic Complexity, your older song.
Yeah, my older song, and I've always loved this song. It's it didn't get down. Actually, I know the album. The older song is "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough" by the late great Michael Jackson, and that song was like at the time it came out, which was probably just before I was born, but that was like coming along the end of the disco era from mainly the 70s and the beginning of the pop and R&B era, which ended up in the 80s, well, and 90s. So, yeah, I mean, don't stop till you get enough. I used to hear my mom playing that when I was a kid, and that was it still is the jam.
Don't stop till you get enough. Michael Jackson is exceptional, of course. I was debating about whether or not I would say that because it's like it goes without saying, you know, but he is exceptional.
Yes.
All right. And
And just one last thing, not only was he exceptional, but he actually had a voice.
yeah,
He was able to sing even going as far back as the 60s or late 50s, I forget, when the Jackson 5 first came out.
yeah, I'm not absolutely sure if that was the. No. I'm 90% sure it wasn't the 50s. I think maybe the 60s,
Yeah,
possibly
probably
even
that.
early 70s,
It was definitely at least the 60s.
though. Okay, I'll take your word for that one. All right. So the topics for this week are hashtag uncommon entries, subtitle religions, hashtag Hey Shorty 233, hashtag paramount importance, subtitle questions, and topic D, hashtag greatness divided, subtitle apps, and of course, everybody's favorite hashtag cerebral TV and 233. Now, basic complexity. Are you ready to get this show on the road, my friend?
Yep.
Hashtag uncommon entries, subtitle religions, at Nathan Timmel, hashtag VerseTV 233A.
The first gay person I ever met was my uncle, and my parents explained gay to me as a child by saying, people are born attracted to whoever they're attracted to. And that was that. And then my parents got divorced, and my dad turned to Jesus to feel better. And suddenly he started saying gay was a choice, and that he and his brother had a shitty childhood, and his brother was an angry teenager, so he turned gay to get back at the family. Yeah. Well, you know what? I had a shitty childhood, and I was an angry teenager, but I never once thought to say, you know what? Fuck you, fuck this family, I'm gonna start taking it up the butt. Yeah, that'll show ya. I'm gonna go to rest areas and let strange men put strange things in me like themselves, canned goods, small woodland creatures. No. Being angry doesn't turn you gay, but being religious can warp your view of humanity.
All right. So, I will say it's unfortunate the mental acrobatics that people go through. And you know what? Let me just get that. Okay. It's unfortunate the mental acrobatics that people go through to try to justify the way that we think, to justify our thinking. And I do, when it comes to people basing it on their understanding of their religion, I get it to the extent that it's like people, oh gosh, can sometimes feel like they're doing a certain thing a certain way in order to help you in the long run. And I believe that people can genuinely feel that way. Now, some people take it as far as to kill people who disagree with their religion, and that's just wild. Now, I will say this, as far as him talking about, I never thought to say, well, I'm going to go ahead and start taking things up the butt, letting men stick things up my butt. Honestly, as I was watching that video the first time, and I've watched it many times, but as I was watching it the first time, that kind of brought a tear to my eye. I know I'm a sap, but just thinking about gay, the fact that before, and people have a right to still do whatever kind of sexual acts they want, they're into. And quiet as it's kept, heterosexuals do a lot of wild stuff too. It's just that gay people get thrown under the bus for it, if you will. Like, well, they're doing all those strange things, taking stuff up. Straight people do that too, but the gays get the bum rep for it. Anyway, as far as I feel badly that us gay men get that rough reputation for being so sexual. But I will say this. It's like, and I was thinking about this, they say men are more sexual than women at a certain age. Now, the tables do shift as people get older. It's my understanding older women are more sexual than their same age counterparts. So I'll save it for my 1 minute.
Okay. After hearing that was, wow, just interesting to me because like I will never ever understand how people in general, or some people, let me be specific, could think that being gay is a willing choice. I mean, it's a choice to accept it, but not a choice to choose your sexuality. And to me, anyway, that just sounds a little mental. Like, I'm just like, why in the world would I willingly choose to put myself through that much, well, on some level, even danger? When, yeah, I could live the heavy or mainly heavy heterosexual life. Now, like thinking that like all gay people just choose to be gay, like, oh, it's like I woke up today and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be gay. It don't work like that. So there's definitely something people need to get through their skulls, because just, and I always say this, people who say you chose to be gay, I'm like, all right, let's flip the script. So, in all honesty, did you choose to be straight, or did you just accept it? And that's the difference.
And people don't like to think about that. I know I've asked some heterosexual friends in the past, like, well, did you choose to be heterosexual? And they're like, no, I chose to be natural. and that's how people think. And it's like, okay, they didn't say I chose to be natural, but that's basically what they're saying. I chose to not go against anyway. As far as people and sexual activities and the whole, are men more sexual than women when they're younger and then it flips? But I sometimes, humans are humans and people are all different. Like I think about myself, and I often talk about my thought days in college and everything. But I also add to that the fact that I was doing all that sexual stuff because I was looking for love in all the wrong bedrooms, you know? And at the end of the day, like I was really just looking for love. And then I went through my prude days, my prude days when I wasn't, even with boyfriends, I wouldn't do more than kisses and cuddles. And I think I'll save that for another show. But my one wrap up is, while this could be a slippery slope, but I wonder how the world would look if universally any religion that teaches anything other than welcoming affirmation for all people would get banned. I wonder how that would look if that happened in a world. So it's not, because there have been people who say like, what if we just ban religion? I'm not saying that at all. Religion, I believe, has a purpose, but a purpose and a benefit. I'll go that far. A purpose and a benefit. But if your religion is preaching anything other than universal working to understand, affirmation, welcoming of other people, if it's not doing that, then no. You know? Base complexity?
Yes. Accepting yourself is the most important, and in all honesty, the only person you really need to impress. Anyone else, in all honesty, their opinions don't matter. It's about you, your life, and you don't go through life, or you shouldn't go through life attempting to appease others. Yeah.
All right. And the hashtag Birth TV family yes or no question is separation of church and state. I get it. But might it be best if the government regulates all religion to make sure that they're all welcoming and affirming of any people who are living their truth to the best of their knowledge? Oh, right. Oh, that's right. We asked those questions of each other. I'll answer first. Oh, wow. I didn't want us to be an echo chamber of answers. So that's part of the reason that I made sure to give a little extra thought in wording the questions the way that I worded them. But I say no. I don't think government should regulate religion because I think that can potentially just become a bigger problem. Now, if government was perfect, perhaps something like that could work, but then that would be like asking for us being in a perfect world, and we're not in a perfect world. I do think it would be good if religions that are not spreading love as basic complexity, your yes or no?
And what?
Do you say yes or no to that question?
Oh, the government should regulate religion.
Yep. If it's not welcoming or not affirming of people who are living their truth.
I think, and it's often said that road slippery slope, and I don't even know if I want to go down that road.
So yes or no?
Do I think government should regulate it? I'm kind of torn. I'm like right between that yes and no. But I think, in all honesty, like based on what we have in the United States, I think that's fine. It's like you're religious. If you're not, okay. So it's like really no big deal.
That's
But
fair. Oh,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
know some people are attempting to make it a big deal, even bring religion back to schools. And now I understand what was taken out schools because that kind of like goes right in the face of there'll be no standard religion. Then it's like, okay, you got religion in schools. Who do you pray to? Do you pray to God or Allah or think Buddha, whatever? That's a personal thing. It's really, in all honesty, none of our business. That's what I have.
All right. You ready for the next topic?
Yes.
Hashtag Verse TV family, please share, subscribe, and share again. Thank you.
Hashtag HeyShorty233 at Husband's Diary with Darren. Hashtag VerseTV233B. Text. When you finally find a suitable date, get weird about it.
Hey, you're incredible, and I'd like to take you to dinner next week. What? Me? Why? What's the matter with you? Hey, you're incredible, and I'd like to take you to dinner next week. What? Me? Why? What's the matter with you?
But a lot of people were or possibly still not comfortable with their sexuality. And it's really something people have started to become more comfortable in, well, this century, and wasn't even like that in the 1900s. And
And,
I'm sure from experience, people weren't comfortable with it even back in the 1990s. And no, honestly, I mean, I knew I was gay, but I wasn't gonna make it obvious.
all right. And my response to the hey short T 10-second
Uh,
is this is exactly how I responded to the dude who agreed to my Jack proposal to raise a family. Anyway, base complexity. Are you ready for topic C?
See, yes.
Hashtag paramount importance. Subtitle questions at spoonface1. Hashtag VerseTV233C.
These are the 5 most important questions you need to ask anyone that you're considering being in a relationship with. You better write this down. You better save this video, download it, whatever you need to do. But this is it. This is the key. I'm telling you. 1, what is the most traumatic thing you have experienced in your life? 2, when you were a child, who did you spend the most time with and what were they like as a person? 3, what are your love, apology, and forgiveness languages? 4, what do you want from this relationship? 5, what is your ultimate vision for us? Ask those questions and then make a decision based on what they've told you. Trust me, ask those questions and you will know if they're the right person for you. And furthermore, it's not just the answers they give, but the actions they take. Let me know your thoughts.
All right, for the furthermore. I know that's right. Yes. So my answer to his first question, number 1. Most memorable experience, I would say, and maybe we'll put a minute on for each one, maybe 20 seconds. My most memorable experience was when I was a kid. I walked in on a large family member of mine on top of tussling with my very small frame mom. And I'm not doing that. No. Anyway, but that was very traumatic for me. And he asked, what help have you been getting for it? I do. Seeing a mental health counselor is a thing, and these are things that can come up with my mental health counselors when I'm able to see a mental health counselor. What makes it more impactful to me is something I realized. That experience by no means did not turn me gay, but I do feel that it contributed to my being more attracted to dudes who are able to protect me. And like I always that often comes up in discussion, like, could you protect me? And anyway, because that was a really scary experience. Like 911 had to be called and everything. And it was like, that was scary. So I like a man who's able to protect me. Anyway, protect me from what? Protect me from any possibility of it. Wow, I was about to make myself cry. Base complexity. What's your most major moment?
All right, and this is real short, but no, honestly, I really don't have any.
There you go. All right. So as far as the second question, who did you spend the most time with? I would say I spent the most time with my mom. And how was that person? My mom was very smart, very open. You know what? It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My mom was very smart, very open-minded, non-judgmental, welcoming, and I feel like stuff like that has rubbed off on me and makes me the way that I am. Like even when we were talking about the whole religion topic, and I was like, well, I think sometimes people feel the way they feel because they feel that it's genuinely helping. So people are entitled to feel what they feel. But yeah, most of my time was around my mom. Oh, also, she used to love, she had an exceptional vocabulary, and she would literally sleep with a huge dictionary under the bed. So, in case she had a question on a word at any point, she would just go over, grab the dictionary, look up the word, and she would teach me to do that. But now with today's modern technology, I just ask Google, but it is a habit of mine. Base complexity, who did you spend the most time with? And what were they like?
And well, with me being both my parents' firstborn child was really, and definitely after my parents separated and later divorced, I really became more, what's the word? Uh, I guess more connected to my mother, and it's just the way it was. So if someone says your mama's boy, eh, I'll take it.
It's not a put down. It shouldn't be. Well, people can use it as a put down, but I don't think it's a bad thing.
It depends on how it's used, but I don't think it is either.
All right. And I think we have enough time. As far as languages, what's my love language for apology, for forgiveness, for love? My language for love, I would say, is quality time. I will also say, I don't know. I know these are things that people do like online tests for and stuff to get the exact answer. I've never done that. Never. I almost kind of started to read it a little bit in college. I didn't go through it all. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And it's just like, let me read something else. Anyway, but yeah, as far as my love language, to my knowledge, I'll say quality time. That's important for me. Quality time, and honestly, I'm a boring routine-based kind of guy. I kind of love routine, just settling into routine with my husband. Anyway, yes. And even though this, we can go back and forth each one of these three. So what's your love language?
Love language, and because that was definitely lengthy, but Mama trimmed it down to three. That's cool. Now, love language, there would be a little tricky. Um, and it would depend on would depend on how we connect and the amount of time we have known each other, which just to me that actually makes a difference. Um, and yeah, like I said, the amount of time we've known each other actually kind of plays a part also. Um, Actually, yeah, that's what I have for that one.
All right. And as for my forgiveness language, it is and actually it's my apology language. It's
Right.
not that I have never ever apologized begrudgingly, but I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong. I don't mind admitting fault in a thing and being sincere about it and working to learn and improve from my misstep. Basic complexity.
All right. If I was at the point where I had to apologize for something, I'm not gonna laugh. I was wrong. I was wrong, and I'll tell them straight up. Um, thought it was also like as far as you accepting apologies.
His third one was your forgiveness language. So I'll go with that one now. His third one is what's your forgiveness language? My thing, I just say be sincere. And like I was saying, I do for my apology language, be sincere, try to learn to live better. Basic complexity.
Yeah, I wrote that with the forgiveness language. It definitely depends on if they could admit what they did wrong. And yeah, time plays a role in it also. I mean, if it's something recent that's not that major, all right, that's cool. But if it's like a bigger thing, then I'm the type of person like, I just give me some time. Not saying I won't accept it because I will. It might just take some time. That's what I've.
Okay. And let's move on to topic D. Ready for topic D?
Yep.
Hashtag greatness divided. Subtitle apps at elite.mindsets. Hashtag VerseTV233D. Text why dating apps are bad for you.
You go on a dating app, you're talking not just to one person, most likely, you're talking to multiple people. Imagine trying to watch 5 movies at the same time and enjoying any one of them. It doesn't matter how great any of the movies are. You're watching 5 at the same time. If you've got 5 screens in front of you at the same time, you're watching movies like people watch sports in a sports bar where there's baseball and there's football and there's basketball and you're not deeply invested in any one game. You're not in it. You're being spread amongst all these multiple plot lines. So it's harder to get invested. Now you go on a date, right? At the end of that date, we get home, and what do? Within seconds, we open up our phone, We go straight to the app that got us the date in the first place, and we see what else is going on. Who else has messaged me? And you're into not only another attraction plotline, but you've had the one that you were in disrupted. That could be a positive thing in the sense of not getting us too invested too quickly in one person, but it can also, the dark side of it is that we never really get invested in anybody.
All right. So, basic complexity.
I've always been the type of guy to only date one person at a time. I mean, truth be told, if you're not committed, then it's fair game, and I get that. But just me personally, I've never been the type of guy to walk around like this list of different guys. It's just not how I operate. That's what I have.
So, I agree with him, and I don't agree with him. And as far as the, you go on a date and then you go home and you're right back into the apps and all of that. As for myself, particularly in my thirsty, desperate dating days, if I went on a date with somebody and the first date was good, positive, I would say that, honestly, I kind of playfully classify myself as a gay U-Haul lesbian, because I am like, if that first date went well, I am looking into our futures together. Like, where can we live together? What will our children look like? What will our, anyway, but I look very far ahead into very pedestrian things like those. But I look very far ahead, and I don't just instantly hop back on the app because I'm like, no, excuse me, I have a boyfriend in the making, so I can't just hop on apps. What do I look like? I'm about to be taken. Thank you. Hopefully, right? So that's not me. Also, I will say, I remember this older dude I was talking with in college years ago. He told me that he hates people dating multiple people. And I was like, I think I sort of misunderstood or miscreated in my mind his meaning of the word dated, because I took that to mean like, well, once you're talking with somebody online, if it goes well, that means you shouldn't talk to anybody else. And maybe that's exactly what he meant. But basic complexity, you're one squared.
I know some people operate in I'm sorry. I know some people operate in a way to explore their options. And hey, if that's you, then do your thing, but it's just not me. That's
Okay.
it.
As far as the older guy, he really expressed a disdain. And I think in retrospect, part of the reason that he was doing that was, you know, and I love dating me some older men, right? That's not what I always do, but I got a love for it, right? It's not I got a love for it like it's a thing, but in other words, I don't put much in terms of limits on the upper end of my dating. Nevertheless, I will say part of my issue with significantly older people dating significantly younger people is they can take a little more advantage of the younger person, because even though the younger person is an adult, they, like me in that situation, because I think that he brought that up to me because that was his way of saying, hey, we've gone on this first date. I want you to be exclusive to me already. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess he's saying, because I'm learning, I was like 19 or whatever. I'm learning how to date. And this guy says that when you date, you shouldn't date multiple people. So I guess that means that I shouldn't even look for anybody else because I found this one person, went on our first date. It was okay. So I guess I need to be committed to him until I'm not. And I think that was just my mistaking what he said, you know? And I take the blame for that. Anyway, my wrap-up sentence is chatting with someone does not equal dating someone. And if it's an awkward first date, that also does not equal just throw them away because it was a bad first date. I think that is a mistake that people, myself included, make, in that no, if it's an awful first date, if the person tries to put his hands on you on the first date, signs like that are signs that you can be like, okay, I'm done. But sometimes, like if it's oh, well, he picked up the phone or some, not picked up the phone, but something, just did something that I don't generally agree with, I don't think that should be necessarily grounds for writing him off, because writing him off and being back to the drawing board, back to your apps, because Aaron Mack, like Tyra Banks said, learn something from this. You can learn something from the mistakes in the relationship and grow the mistakes that you made. Basic complexity, no. Okay. The hashtag VerseTV family yes or no question is, if your conclusion after your first date is bad, do you quickly get back on dating apps? Basic complexity, yes or no? If it was a bad first date.
What are you talking about, real bad? Then, if it was real bad, then I say, why not go for it?
I say, and also just because I want to have a different answer from you. Anyway, I say no. I don't think that's what I do, because even if it was a bad first date, I think that I have high ideals, high hopeful ideals for a future of something manifesting better, you know? Or because man, uh, I sound like I do love me some Doja Cat. I do, and maybe "Paint the Town Red" will be one of my songs one week. But how she's like, ugh, and the song "Paint the Town Red." Doja Cat is actually exceptionally talented. I'll say that. But she had some rhyme scheme, and she was like da 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 ugh, da 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 ugh. And I'm like, I know that's right, Doja Cat. Anyway, but yeah. So I would say no. I answered it. All right. Are you ready for topic E?
Yeah.
Hashtag CerebralTV233 at Paget Kagi at Chris Love Music at Mr. Grimm 3. Hashtag VerseTV233E. Text. Realizing our relationships are just mirrors.
Need advice. Should I stay or leave? Why do you want to go? Because he's not really exciting me anymore. I mean, he's a really good guy and everything like that, but I just feel like there's someone out there who's just more fun. Have you considered that perhaps you're not that exciting yourself? No, I'm plenty exciting. I rock climb, I hike, I paint, I have a great job. But didn't your last relationship end because you were also bored? Yes, I know, it's crazy. It's like everyone is so boring. And your partners are completely responsible for your happiness. That's what a relationship is, yes. What if I told you that relationships are merely a reflection of you, that you don't find other people that interesting because you don't find yourself all that interesting? But I just told you I do all kinds of things. But don't you do all those things because you're actually bored of yourself, so you feel like you need to do all those things? Wait, what? When's the last time you could just sit with yourself and just enjoy the moment? But that's so boring. Exactly. What you think is missing in him is actually what's deep down missing in you. Once you find that, perhaps make the decision from there. Okay, I don't have time to do that. You know, I have spin class in 15 minutes. I'm really busy. Yes, of course you are.
Text. Brilliant. Greatest truth on TV.
You're saying if you have a media machine that purposefully lies to its people to maintain a political fiction and get themselves power, that is the hallmark of an authoritarian system, not a democratic system.
Absolutely.
Well, if we were ever to get something like that in the United States, we would be horrified, furious, to know that there was an entire media organization designed to bend reality, to manipulate facts, to maintain power. It would, if I may, and I'm not trying to slam Hungary, it would never happen in the United States. It's just not, I almost can't even conjure it, imagine it. It must be very difficult to live in a country where one media organization, out of whole cloth, knowingly, explicitly, maybe even in meetings behind the scenes might say, we're lying to our audience, holy shit, and then call for news people to be fired for telling the truth. I mean, if something like that happened in the United States, it would be a dark day indeed. So I appreciate you raising the alarm bells for us.
Text. This 5th grade class dealt with Islamophobia and anti-black racism, so I taught them that we're all from Africa.
How many of y'all afraid of the dark? It's okay. It's a safe place. Safe place. Yeah, just come on. It's okay. It's okay. My kids got night lights everywhere, man. You can't even tell it's time for bed. Most of us are afraid of the dark, or we're afraid of the boogeyman, or some of y'all might hear something under the bed. Hopefully I don't ruin this for somebody, but those things ain't real. They're not real. But sometimes we make up in our mind that they're real, and it creates fear in us. The divisions that we see aren't really real, but we have to be careful. That's not to say that you just treat people like in a colorblind way. See differences, but see the common connection, right? See that we're all from the same place, but because we all left, we created different ways to make sense of life. Like those drums, they do that in Africa. Then I came across the ocean. Like, but all people love music. That's apparent, right? So we all come from the same place. There is only one race. Say that for me, y'all. There is only one race. There's only one race. Think about that. People are going to tell you different. We have different ethnicities, we have different cultures, but we're the same. And with that, that means we should respect everyone's different ethnic groups, different ways they communicate. Matter of fact, before we go on, look to somebody next to you and say, "What up, cuz?"
Mr. Krim presented to our 5th grade students today, and it was a lovely experience for everyone to recognize that while we have differences, it's okay to be different. It's okay to embrace some of the sameness that we have as well. Our students really enjoyed it, and they left learning something and I think feeling better about each other as well. Thank you.
All right, hashtag Verse TV family. This has been week 233, and I'm Aaron Mack, and you can find me, Aaron Mack, at versetv.com. That's AARONMCK at BERSTEAV.com. And you can find hashtag VerseTV all over the social media landscape. Just search hashtag BERSTEAV, or on your favorite platform, search at BERSTEAV. We're at BERSTEAV on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. I was rattling them all off, bop, 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 bop. And I was like, I think that's about it. But anyway, we used to have a Tumblr. Good old Tumblr. I'm doing the Doja Cat thing again. Basic Complexity, where can people find you?
All right, trying to do this, but actually, we'll start with Instagram. On Instagram, my name on there is Basic Complexity. So it's two different words, basic and complexity, and just put them together in a space. So that's BASICCOMPLEXITY. And that's Instagram. Now on TikTok, because the name Basic Complexity, I guess, was already taken, which is annoying, but yeah, I had to switch my name on there just a little bit to, I guess, get an account. So on TikTok, my name on there is My Basic Complexity. So MYBASICCOMPLEXITY. Then, as far as email, it's Basic Complexity at versetv.com. So yeah, once again, BASICCOMPLEXITY at VERSTEAV.com. And yeah, that's what I have.
All right. I will say that when you spell Basic Complexity, sometimes I'm like, it would be so cute, so fetch, if he spelled Basic Complexity, BASICCOMPLEXITY L-E-X-I-T-I. So instead of Y, have I. That would be so cute. It's
That's
complexity with an I. Anyway. All right, hashtag Verse TV family. We'll see you all next week. And same bad time, same bad channel, 9:35 p.m. See y'all later. Bye-bye now. Peace. Hashtag versetv.com. Stay blessed.